The following segments are pre-recorded and sponsored by Longworth Productions.
Walk to End Hunger on Triad Today. Hello everyone, I'm Jim Longworth and welcome to another edition of Triad Today, coming to you once again from the beautiful Senior Botanical Garden. We'll tell you more about the garden later on, and later on at the end of the show is when the roundtable shows up and we will get into all sorts of controversial topics. You can guarantee that, so stay tuned for that. Now between then and now, we have some great guests and important information coming your way, including some information about a walk and run for hunger and many other things. Where we want to start, though, is talking about the Petty Family Foundation. And we've talked about it before on this show, and we can't talk about it enough because they do such great work. With me, our good friend, Shannon Newman's director of the Petty Family Foundation. Good to see you again, my friend.
Good afternoon, Jim. How are you doing?
Fine. And let's just, for people that maybe haven't seen the show before or haven't gone online and studied what you're doing, just remind everybody what the mission of the foundation is and who you help.
So, yes, the Petty Family Foundation was started in 2008 by the Petty family. Is there a way to continue to give back to the community? So many people are very familiar with Victory Junction, which of course they still support, but the foundation is really meant for the community. So
Right.
We're able to allocate funds to different groups and organizations that need it in the Triad.
Right, and it's important you said the Triad, because I want to make sure people know that when they give to the foundation or they go to some of the fundraisers, which we'll talk about in a minute, that those dollars stay in the state, right?
They do stay in the state, and we did do, at Christmas time, we allocated a large number of funds to Western North Carolina.
Oh, yeah, because of the hurricane and the terrible, tragic flooding up there, and I know that those funds were appreciated up there, and I want to thank you guys for doing that. Now, you know, this is the foundation, like many other foundations. They don't get, they don't have just somebody show up from the government and say, here's $1 million. I mean, you have to do your fundraisers. And you have several each year. Tell me about the one coming up in May.
So in May, this will be our, I think, 11th annual Blue Jeans and Boots dinner.
Wow.
So it's an event where people can purchase tickets and come out, have a nice time, meet Richard if they've never met him in person, get a picture, and then just kind of hang out. We have great food, great music, great drinks, and it's just a good evening.
Now, where is this usually held? Right there at the complex or what?
So, yes, so it's typically held at Richard's house, although this year we're going to move it to Adamant Farms, which is in Trinity, and that's the old farm that was owned by Kyle Petty at one time.
Oh, okay, I got you. Now, I know that a lot of times at your fundraising events, maybe this isn't the case with this one, but you will auction off kind of neat items. Is that going to happen on this one at all?
Absolutely. We'll have some awesome live and silent auction items. We'll have that available for mobile bidding at the event, so you don't have to run up and keep a piece of paper.
Right.
And then we also have some new surprises in store for this year.
And you're not going to tell me what those are?
No, I can't tell you about that
You're just
just
going
yet.
to say surprises.
Yep.
But folks, there's always something cool. I mean, and usually it's really neat things that have to do with Richard Petty, the king, and that's pretty cool. Before I go up, I'm going to put something on screen in just a second, but let's remind everybody again the exact date of the event.
The event is May the 14th, and that is a Wednesday night from 6 to 9.
Okay. Now, as folks, I'll give this information up on screen, which is pettyfamilyfoundation.org. You're looking at it on screen now. pettyfamilyfoundation.org. Will that give folks, Shannon, some more information about how to register or get tickets or whatever?
Absolutely. And then
Okay.
if they also have Facebook, they can follow the Petty Family Foundation Facebook page.
I don't think I've ever asked you this. We have a couple seconds left. That is sort of a personal question, because you've been working with the Petty family for how many years now?
I think this is going on the 11th year.
11th year. When you're doing all this stuff to help the foundation, what do you personally get out of this? What's your gratification?
You know, it's twofold. I really enjoy working with the Petty family. Their ideals, their beliefs very much mimic a lot of what I believe and hold true. And then the fact that we are making an impact in the community, that it's not going up to, a national organization. The money that we raise will, directly impact lives of people that we encounter.
Yeah, well, you just do a fantastic job from the foundation standpoint, and you personally as well. Thanks for everything.
Oh, thank you, Jim.
All right, we'll be right back after this.
You know, it's hard to believe the Safe Sober program has been going strong for over 30 years.
And over 600,000 students have made the pledge to stay safe and sober on prom night. You know, Griff, it's had a huge impact on our community.
Yeah, you're right, David. And now we're making sure the message continues year-round.
So everyone can join us in supporting our students.
Learn more and take the pledge at safesober.com, sponsored by Daggett Schuler.
Fly local, fly easy, fly PTI.
The world's brightest are Fulbrights, Goldwaters, McNairs, and Spartans. UNCG, find your way here.
Back now on Triad Today, so excited about meeting this guest for the first time. We've met over emails and phone calls, but now she's here in person. We're so glad. Stephanie Freeman is Manager of Marketing and Customer Relations at Piedmont Triad International Airport. You're used to seeing Kevin over here. Kevin had to go out of town, and we appreciate you coming.
Thank you for having me.
And now, how long have you been at the airport?
37 years.
Really? That's my age. I'm 37.
Me too.
Yeah,
I started when I was born.
No, I know. I don't know what happened to my hair. All right, now look, people know about, PTI, yeah, planes take off on the runways, we get it. But the runway is also being used for something kind of neat, and it's called Run on the Runway. Now tell me what the heck that is.
Well, this is our 16th year, and it is the PTI Run on the Runway. Folks can come out and walk or run.
Oh, that's
Don't
good.
have to be a runner.
Good.
Just get your steps in. The proceeds go to the Second Harvest Food Bank, the Open Door Ministries in High Point, and the Greensboro Urban Ministry in Greensboro.
So the whole thing designed to help fight hunger in our area, which I think it's just great. And I'm glad you said that people can walk or run, because sometimes we talk about, hey, come out to the 5K run, and people like me say, well, I can't do that, but they can walk too. Now, do you have any? I put you on the spot. Do you have any idea how much PTI has sort of donated to food pantries and the like over the years? Is there any kind of number or what?
I do. Last year we broke the $1 million mark.
Wow.
And that was a pretty big deal for us. And so this is our 16th year, and we're looking to make that number higher.
But now there are a lot of sponsors involved. We probably don't have time to list all of them, but you might want to mention just a few, because it's not just PTI putting it on, because it is on the runway. You want to give a shout out to a few of the big sponsors?
I do. The first one is the Airport Authority employees themselves. Kevin issues a challenge to us each year to give a little something, and ever since he started that, every employee with the Airport Authority has donated something. We're at $14,000 this year, which would make us the second largest sponsor of the run.
Wow.
Not only that, the parking, the facilities, the operations team do a lot of work out there to get everything set up on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And tear it all down on Saturday so that runway can be opened back up.
Right.
Blue Ridge Companies, Samet Construction, the Vela Agency, Honda Aircraft.
Yeah.
Quality Oil, and Medi USA are all some of our top sponsors.
Well, now we've talked about it. It's a walk, it's a run. I'm gonna give the dates and everything in just a minute. But now, can anyone participate in the Run on the Runway? And is there age restrictions or whatever? Or
no age restrictions. We encourage people to come out and cheer on friends or family that are participating. We also have a corporate challenge where you can set up a team for your business, your church, and we give a prize for the largest team, whether they're walking or running.
Right.
And we also give a prize for the fastest team, which over the last several years, Volvo's taken that award home.
Yeah, or are they driving or walking?
They're running pretty fast.
All right. Now, I want to put something up on screen here. Run on the Runway, Walk to Win Against Hunger. That's Saturday, March 22nd. So it's not that far away if you want to plan for it. That's Saturday, March 22nd. And of course, the main website you can go to for information is flyfrompti.com. We put that up whenever. We have just a couple seconds left. Stephanie, I'm just curious, in helping to do this so many years, you personally, I know we talked about the airport, what gratification do you get out of this and doing this kind of an event?
Well, everybody's got to eat, you know, and our area is pretty high on the list of places that have food insecurity.
Right.
So feels pretty good to be able to give back to the community, for the Airport Authority and for myself.
And personally, yeah. Well, bless your heart for doing that. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Come out.
All right, we will. We'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you that Triad Today also airs on GTN Spectrum Channel 13 and streams on WFMY Plus, free on Roku and Amazon Fire.
The world's brightest are Fulbrights, Goldwaters, McNairs, and Spartans. Prestigious doesn't have to be expensive. UNCG, find your way here.
Back now on Triad Today, always glad we can spend a few minutes with the good folks at Shift Ed that do so much for students of all ages, and we welcome back to the show a frequent visitor here to Triad Today, Amanda Roseman's Chief Impact and Operations Officer for Shift Ed. Welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Before we get started, there are always people that moved into the area or haven't seen the show before, so just remind everybody, what's the mission of Shift Ed and who do you serve?
Yeah, so Shift Ed is an educational backbone organization. We are a nonprofit that supports our local school districts, primarily Guilford County schools, and our mission is to boldly accelerate student potential. So we really just want to help students succeed and get to the next phase of their journey past education.
And a lot of times, Amanda, when we have you on, or Wendy, or different folks, we talk about all the great stuff you're doing to get high school kids ready for college and you do scholarships, whatever. What we want to talk about over the next few minutes is the importance of kindergarten and preparing for kindergarten. Now, why is that so important for long-term success of the students?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when you think about education, I like to think about a house. And when you're building a house, you can't put the walls directly in the ground. You need a foundation first. So entering kindergarten ready gives students that foundation that they need to be ready to learn for the rest of their journey in the academic space, as opposed to having to start from ground zero, literally just leveling the dirt when they enter the doors of kindergarten.
And there are also social and emotional type things kids go through, you know, when they're 4 and 5 anyway, right?
Absolutely. So skills like being able to communicate their feelings, being able to follow directions, being able to articulate their needs, those are things that students need to be ready when they enter the building of a school to learn.
Now, what kind of, I think you emailed me one day and said that you were talking about a partnership that you guys had with Guilford County Schools, and I think there's even a backpack program involved. But now, how does this all tie in?
Yeah, great question. So this year, we're partnering with Guilford County Schools to provide over 4,600 book bags for every single student who will be entering kindergarten in the academic year 25-26. So that backpack will be filled with items that will help students be ready for kindergarten, so parents can help their students over the summer build those foundational skills they will need to enter kindergarten.
Isn't that neat? That's just so neat. Now, the community, you know, there are a lot of, look, the reality is, and you heard it before, when I get on the air and I'll say, hey, support Shift Ed or support education, they'll say, well, wait a minute, Jim, you know, we don't have any kids in public school. And our grandkids are grown and whatever. So why do I need to support Shift Ed? And if I do, how can I?
Yeah. The reason you need to support Shift Ed and education as a whole is when students thrive, our communities thrive. So even if you don't have a student directly in the school system, they are the next generation of workforce. They are the next generation of this community, and they will be contributing to the lifestyle that we all love to live every day.
Right, they're the next generation of teachers, they're the next generation of doctors, of nurses, people that are going to help us, whether you have kids in school or not. So yeah, it benefits everybody. Now, the final thing before we run out of time, you emailed me about some kindergarten kickoff events.
Absolutely.
Now, what is that about?
We are doing 2 kickoff events, one on March 22nd in Greensboro at the Coliseum and one on April 5th at the High Point Rocker Stadium, to really disseminate this information and help students be prepared to enter the school district. We're partnering with Guilford County Schools to really reach as many community members as possible and ensure that as many students are thriving as possible.
Right. Now, give me the dates again. And
that'll be April 22nd and March 22nd, April 5th, both of those from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Now, I know this is a stupid question, but who should go? No, who should go? I mean, it's for getting kids ready for kindergarten, but is it just for the parents of kindergartners or guardians or what?
It's for anyone who has a stakeholder in a child's life. So whether someone is entering kindergarten, entering 6th grade, entering 10th grade, we will have academic resources for all age ranges, but a heavy, heavy lift on getting students ready for kindergarten.
I just think it's great because you guys you and Wendy and the whole team are sort of working through a continuum of helping these students, getting them ready for kindergarten, going on and progressing, and then programs and ways that you support them with various resources and later scholarships. And I just commend what you're doing. Up on screen, shift-ed.org, shift-ed.org. Please visit that for more information. And we noted on the show that Wendy's down and out a little bit with the pneumonia, and we wish her a quick recovery, but I'm so glad you were here today.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Amanda. We'll be right back after this.
North Carolina's economy is growing, bringing new businesses and opportunities. The need for electricity is growing too. At Duke Energy, we're meeting the challenge, providing even more electricity that's cleaner, reliable, and that stays affordable. We're getting out of coal and reinvesting in our communities with a diverse, balanced mix of energy sources and making targeted upgrades to the grid so that North Carolina can thrive in a smarter energy future.
Back now on Triad Today, and time to talk about art and a special house and a special exhibit and a special guest with us right now. First time visitor to the show, Allison Slavey is curator of Renolda House. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
There's a lot to see and do at Renolda. Let's talk about that. There's not just the house. There's all sorts of stuff. Like what?
There's the house. There's Renolda Village, which has shops and restaurants, and then there's the beautiful Renolda Gardens, headed by our friend John Rothling.
Right. Now, here's the thing. A lot of times when people go into older homes or whatever, they think about, well, I'm going to go see that, and then I'm going somewhere else to a museum to see some art. But the house is really kind of a museum, and there's a lot of art, right?
The house is a museum. So the house dates to 1917. It was the home of R.J. and Catherine Reynolds. But the museum dates to 1967, and it was the project of their granddaughter, Barbara Babcock Millhouse, to turn the house into a museum concentrating on American art. So now there are about 200 pieces of American art on the walls.
Wow, and you have a big exhibit coming up on me. We're going to know it's February 15th. What is that about?
So that is an exhibition that will travel to 3 different museums, but it's opening at Renolda House. And we originated the idea for the exhibition. It's called Andrew Wyeth at Kerner Farm, The Eye of the Earth.
Wow.
And it tells the story of an artist centered in Pennsylvania, mostly, who painted one farm, Kerner Farm, over and over again, over 1,000 paintings of one farm.
Wow. Okay. Now, obviously, this book is prominent in our TV video shot right now, Andrew Wyeth and at Kerner Farm, and I won't open it, I don't want to mess up the book, but this will be for sale. Now, can people get this online, or they need to come to the house, or what?
They can come to the museum. It will be on sale starting on Monday, but they can also order it online as well.
And what will they see in this book? Just various photographs of the exhibit itself?
No, what you'll see in the book is Andrew Wyeth's paintings of Kerner Farm, as well as photographs of the farm. And there are 4 essays. I wrote one of them.
Wow, okay.
My co-curator in Pennsylvania, Will Coleman, wrote another. And then there are 2 other essays reflecting on the work that Andrew Wyeth did at Kerner Farm.
You keep mentioning Kerner Farm, so I'd be remiss if I don't say, folks know from watching the program that we're here in the gift shop area and lobby of the beautiful Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville, which is like a block up from Kerner's Folly. A very historic site. Now, is there any connection between the families or how that was done between Kerner Farm or what?
I wonder if back in Europe, if the families might have been related, but there's no connection between Kerner Farm in Pennsylvania and Kernersville or Kerner's Folly.
Right. Now, is the Wyeth, we're focusing a lot on Wyeth, and rightfully so. Are there other things that people can see in the house, maybe other works of art that wouldn't have anything to do with Way?
Yes, so in the historic house, we have 4 galleries that we've turned into little, former bedrooms that we've turned into little mini galleries. There's a work of a contemporary artist named Leanne Hallberg. There's a portraiture show that ranges from the 18th century to the 21st. There's an exhibition of the Black experience at Rinalda called Still I Rise. And there's an exhibition that is a little capsule exhibition of a show that we had last year called Smith and Libby, 2 rings, 7 months, 1 bullet.
Yeah, that was the big murder mystery thing or suicide mystery that keeps going on and never has been totally solved.
That's right, exactly.
People, yeah, that's intriguing. Oh, I have a few seconds left. Let me ask you a personal question. When did you first develop an interest in history, art, museums? When did that bug hit you?
College, definitely. The first time I took a class in art history, and I kind of felt like the angels sang a little bit. But it led me to a career in as a curator, as an art historian, led me to a master's degree in art history, and then eventually led me to Rinalda. And one important thing that I like to remind visitors is we have fantastic exhibitions, but the permanent collection is a blockbuster every day.
All right, up on screen, rinalda.org you can go to for all sorts of information. And we want to thank Stephanie and her team at Visit Winston-Salem. Please visit that website. They do all sorts of great things with promoting tourism. Visit winstonsalem.org, and please do that. Allison, thanks a lot for all you're doing.
Thanks so much.
All right, we'll be right back after this. Hi, I'm Jim Longworth, reminding you to catch my column Longworth at Large and Yes Weekly every week. It's available throughout the Triad, or you can go online, yesweekly.com. Back now on Triad Today, just about time for the roundtable, but a quick shout out to the good folks here at Senior Botanical Garden in Kernersville. Beautiful place to visit year-round, lots to do. You can rent the facility and et cetera, et cetera. And I think that's what we're going to call this segment, the et cetera segment. On my right, but always political left, Ogie Overman. Dave Briggs, former director of High Point Theater, now has his own business, and so does Bob Shackelford, his own consulting and leadership business. Guys, state legislators are considering a number of new laws. Let's talk about a couple of them briefly. First, they propose to eliminate state income taxes on tips. We've sort of talked about that before. And also, no taxes on overtime. Good idea, and will it pass, Ogie?
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I mean, I give cash for tips anyway, so
right.
you don't have to report it anyway.
Dave?
I'd love to see them eliminate the taxes on overtime. On the tips, it's tricky because if you're getting a tip, you're basically earning 50%
right.
of minimum wage. Beyond that, I have no problem with it.
I don't think the tippers ought to be paying the salaries. They ought to have to pay them a minimum wage and take the tips back to 15%.
A higher minimum wage at that. Right. Senate also proposed to make gambling losses tax deductible. Interesting. Ogie.
No way, man. You lose. I'm sorry. Tough. That's your fault. That's on you.
Okay.
That's their vice. Maybe I can deduct my alcohol usage.
There you go.
No. Bob, deduct gambling losses?
No. For the government to give incentives to gamble, that's insane.
Yeah, I agree. Last year, Wake Forest University canceled a lecture by a Palestinian scholar because they said it might be, quote, inherently contentious, unquote. Now activists demand that Wake Forest cancel a upcoming lecture, by a member of the Israeli Defense Forces scheduled for February 11th. Should Wake also cancel the Israeli speaker? Ogie.
Colleges are supposed to be that place where we learn different points of view and we expand our worldview. I mean, 2 wrongs don't make a right. They're both wrong.
Let him speak.
It was wrong to cancel the first one, and it's not going to make it any better to cancel the other one.
Dave.
I agree completely with Ogie. He would be shocked. But the truth of the matter is that Wake Forest censored themselves by canceling the Palestinian speaker. And if they're going to do the one, they need to do the other.
Bob.
When I was president of the college, when what you do for one, you have to do for the other. You start discriminating, you get into a lot of issues.
Now, you had to deal with a lot of that, Bob, as president of Randolph Community College, but you did it well, my friend.
Thank you.
The North Carolina Senate is considering a bill that would officially allow private homeschool students to play sports for a public high school. Some of this has been going on, and we're trying to figure out, maybe they're trying to codify this or something, but in general, anybody have an objection to that, Ogie?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to ruin high school athletics like you ruined college athletics. Do they play for the district they would be in if they weren't homeschooled? Can they pick whatever team? Can you go poach kids? And if they're good, recruit.
That and NIL is sort of a mixed bag. Yeah. Dave, what do you
think?
think?
The North Carolina High School Athletic Association is probably behind this. I think if a player is should be required to play in the district that they live in.
All right, Bob.
I absolutely not. If you want the benefits of a public school, go to the public school. Don't go to the private school or homeschool and then cherry pick the benefits.
Good point. Trump, meanwhile, has signed an executive order on school choice that will allow tax dollars to fund private school vouchers, even for wealthy families. That's been going on in the state for a while. He wants to do it on a federal level. He's also planning to shut down the Department of Education. What effect, very quickly, will these orders have on public schools, Ogie?
Completely negative. It's just insane that you would even think about shutting down a Department of Education. What kind of idiot is that?
People are already paying taxes for public schools. These vouchers, if they can help some people, fine. When I was in school and taking education classes, the Department of Education was formed. And I remember those professors saying, what this is going to do is homogenize education, and that's what it's done. I'm not opposed to a lot of changes to the Department of Education.
Bob.
They need to seriously increase funding for public schools. And one of the things the Department of Education does is the Pell Grants, and the community colleges in particular, and the universities too, they depend on those Pell Grants. What they're doing with education is crazy.
All right, an Australian man who raped a woman, he actually was guilty of it, but he's found not guilty on a technicality because he claimed he suffers from something called sexsomnia, and he can't control what he does in his sleep. Guys, this is a serious thing. Now, is it real? And is it okay to commit crimes when you're asleep? Ogie.
I'm not buying that for a minute. I mean, come on.
No, Dave?
I'm not either. That's ridiculous. He should be in jail.
Bob?
Nobody takes accountability for anything anymore. I don't buy it.
No, awake or asleep.
That's right.
All right, finally, guys, the Progresso company is making soup-flavored hard candies. Do you plan to buy these soup-flavored candies, Ogie?
I'll pass on that one, Jim. Thank you.
Kind of gross, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Dave, what do you think?
Tomato soup, chicken noodle, I don't think so.
As a candy?
As a candy.
Well, why make a candy? Candies are supposed to be sweet, aren't they, Bob?
If I want soup, I'll order soup. If I want candy, I'll buy candy.
Bob lays it right out there.
He does, doesn't he?
Oh, man. Anyway, just a quick note. Keith was supposed to be here today, and he's traveling overseas doing some great work for his company. And Wendy is down with pneumonia, Wendy Poteet, so we wish her well. That's about all the time we have. Oh, except for this. Last week, authorities discovered in a Minnesota garage an original Vincent van Gogh painting. They went up to the garage owner and said, hey, man, why didn't you just turn this in earlier? He said, that'd be like cutting off my ear to spite my face.
Gosh.
That's kind of I don't know why he said that.
Happy Valentine's Day.
All right, we'll be back next week. I'm Jim Longworth. See you then.